Okay. We're now live. We're gonna read the highly requested by like 3 people, and the long anticipated 50 Shades of Grey, which I have not personally read, but I know it's a piece of shit. I have skimmed it, and I have seen the movie. So, once I get through all the intro pages here, we'll just dive right in. Have you read it before?
I started to read it.
Okay. This is dedicated to Niall, the master of my universe. It's disgusting. Acknowledgements say I am indebted to my husband, Niall. Thank you for Niall.
It's Niall.
Niall. For tolerating my obsession, being a domestic god and doing the first edit. I'm already disgusted.
Well, anything's gross if you read it like that.
Chapter 1. Anastasia will be my normal tone, and I will be reading Christian as my cricket green tone. Because then it'll seem more like how it should be, where, you know, if he is a redneck, it'd be a Criminal Minds episode. Mm-hmm. Chapter 1. I scowl with frustration at myself in the mirror. Damn my hair, it just won't behave. And damn Catherine Kavanagh, for being ill and subjecting me to this ordeal. I should be studying for my final exams, which are next week. Yet here I am trying to brush my hair into submission. I must not sleep with it wet. I must not sleep with it wet. I'm already exhausted. Reciting this mantra several times, I attempt once more to bring it under control with the brush. I roll my eyes in exasperation and gaze at the pale brown-haired girl with blue eyes too big for her face staring back at me. And I give up.
Colored contacts.
She's got anime eyes. My only option is to restrain my wayward hair into a ponytail and hope that I look semi-presentable. Kate is my roommate, and she has chosen today of all days to succumb to the flu. Therefore, she cannot attend the interview she had arranged to do with some...
God damn her for being seriously ill.
She's got COVID. With some mega-industrialist tycoon that I've never heard of for some student newspaper. So I have been volunteered. I have final exams to cram for and one essay to finish, and I'm supposed to be working this afternoon, but no. Today I have to drive 165 miles to downtown Seattle in order to meet this enigmatic CEO of Gray Enterprises Holdings Incorporated. As an exceptional entrepreneur and a major benefactor of our university, his time is extraordinarily precious, much more precious than mine. But he has granted Kate an interview, a real coup, she tells me. Ah, damn her extracurricular activities. Page 1.
It all reads like a run-on.
I stop where there's periods, and there just wasn't one. Kate is huddled on the couch in the living room. Anna, I'm sorry. It took me 9 months to get this interview. It would take another 6 months just to reschedule, and we'll both have graduated by then. As the editor, I can't blow this off. Please. Kate begs me in her rasping, sore throat voice. How does she do it? Even ill, she looks... Gamine? I don't know, gorgeous strawberry blonde hair in place, and green eyes, bright, although now red-rimmed and runny. I ignore my pang of unwelcome sympathy. Of course I'll go, Kate. You should go back to bed. Would you like some NyQuil or Tylenol? NyQuil, please. Here are the questions in my digital recorder. Just press record here. Lost my space. Make notes. I'll transcribe it all. I know nothing about him. I murmur, trying and failing to suppress my rising panic. The questions'll see you through. Now go. It's a long drive. You can't be late. Okay, I'm going. You get back to bed. I made you some soup to heat up later. I stare at her fondly. Only for you, Kate, would I do this. I will. Good luck. And thanks, Anna, as usual. You're my lifesaver.
Anna wants to fuck everybody.
Yeah. Everything's horny in this. Everything. Gathering my backpack, I smile wearily at her, and then head out to the door to my car. I cannot believe I have let Kate talk me into this, but then Kate can talk anyone into anything. She'll make an exceptional journalist, for she is articulate, strong, persuasive, argumentative, beautiful, and she's my dearest, dearest friend. The roads are clear as I set off for Vancouver. Towards Interstate 5, and it's early, and I don't have to be in Seattle until 2 this afternoon. Fortunately, Kate has lent me her sporty Mercedes CLK. What is with these books and being overly specific with the car? I don't give a fuck what the car is.
I mean, if you are this kind of woman, you probably don't have a lot else going on.
I guess.
You can be that shallow.
I'm not sure Wanda, which is what I call my old VW Beetle, would make the journey in time. Oh, the Mercedes is a fun drive, though, and the miles slip away as I hit the pedal to the metal. My destination is the headquarters of Mr. Gray's global enterprise. It's a huge 20-story office building, all curved glass and steel, an architect's utilitarian fantasy, with Gray House written discreetly in steel over the glass front doors. It's 1:45 when I arrive, greatly relieved that I'm not late, as I walk into the enormous and frankly intimidating glass, steel, and white sandstone lobby. Behind the solid sandstone desk is a very attractive and groomed blonde young woman who smiles pleasantly at me. She's wearing the sharpest charcoal suit jacket and the whitest shirt I've ever seen. My God, she looks immaculate. I'm here to see Mr. Gray. Anastasia Steele for Catherine Kavanagh. Excuse me one moment, Miss Steele. She arches her eyebrow as I stand self-consciously before her. I'm beginning to wish I'd borrowed one of Kate's formal blazers rather than wore my navy blue jacket. I've made an effort and worn...
Blue jacket.
I did make an effort, and I wore my one and only skirt. My sensible brown length knee boots, and a blue sweater. For me, this is smart.
It sounds ugly.
I tuck one... Well, she's not like other girls. She can't dress fancy.
But it just sounds bad.
I'm surprised...
You have denim blue on a blue sweater with
Yeah.
brown boots and a skirt.
Yeah, it sounds dumb.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she didn't pick up some, like, chicken nuggets on the way. I tuck one end of the escaped tendrils of my hair behind my ear as I pretend that this woman doesn't intimidate me. Please, Miss Kavanagh is expected. Please sign in here, Miss Steele. You'll want the last elevator on the right. Press for the 20th floor. She smiles kindly at me, amused no doubt, as I sign in. She hands me a security pass that says visitor, very firmly stamped on the front. How do you know it was stamped firmly?
It's probably just meant to be like big embossed letters.
Stamped firmly. I can't help my smirk. Surely it's obvious that I'm just visiting. I don't fit in here at all. No, you have to wear it,
Oh
Anna.
my God, just shut up. Just get in the fucking
Just-
elevator.
Please, just shut the fuck up, Anna. Nothing changes, I inwardly sigh. I don't know what that means. Thanking her, I walk over to the bank of the elevators.
She's just a visitor everywhere. She doesn't fit in anywhere because she's not like other.
I have terrible fashion sense. And past the two security men who were both far more smartly dressed than I in their well-cut black suits. The elevator whisks me at terminal velocity. That
Yeah,
seems...
she dies.
Yeah, I was like, that seems like an oxymoron. It whisks me at terminal velocity to the 20th
This is what I'm
floors.
saying.
Ah!
Everything is so extreme, it's ridiculous.
She passes out and dies on the way up.
It's like breakneck speeds.
The doors slide open, and I'm in another large lobby.
But I cannot walk out because I'm
I'm
dead.
passed out because it was terminal. Again, all glass, steel, and white sandstone. I'm confronted by another desk of sandstone.
She can determine the mineral right away.
I am confronted by another desk of sandstone and another young blonde woman, this time dressed impeccably in black and white, and she rises to greet me. Miss Steele, could you please wait here, please? She points to a seated area of white leather chairs. Behind the leather chairs is a spacious glass-walled meeting room with an equally spacious dark wood table and at least 20 matching chairs around it. Beyond that, there's a floor-to-ceiling window with the view of Seattle skyline
Yes,
that looks
what?
out through the city towards the sound.
Steel is also a shade of gray.
Ha ha! So it is. It's a stunning vista, and I'm momentarily paralyzed by the view. Wow. I sit down, fish the questions from my backpack, and go through them inwardly cursing Kate for
think
not
the
providing me with a
sexy
brief
lamp is
biography.
coming
Oh boy. I know nothing about this man, and I'm about to interview. He could be 90, or he could be 30. Ah, the uncertainty is galling. My nerves resurface, making me fidget. I've never been comfortable with one-on-one interviews, preferring the anonymity of a group discussion where I can sit inconspicuously at the back of the room.
Anonymity?
What'd I say? Whatever.
Anonymity?
Anonymity, because she's anonymous. I don't know. I don't read things out loud. To be honest, I prefer my own company, like reading a classic British novel. God fucking damn it.
Do you read fucking Pride and
It's
Prejudice?
gonna be Bride and Brett, isn't it? I think it is, and she gets him like a first edition or something.
Oh my
I don't remember. I'm just remembering the movie,
god.
which I think we watched like once, so it's
Yeah.
not like a Twilight thing going on. Get a grip, Steel. I roll my eyes at myself.
My Mr. Darcy.
Judging from this building, which is too clinical and modern, I guess Gray is probably in his 40s, fit, tanned, and fair-haired to match the rest of his personnel. I don't know if he has to have blonde hair, just because the ladies had blonde hair.
He has some dye. That might be a thing.
It
actually.
could be.
I think it is.
Another elegant, flawlessly dressed blonde comes out of the large door to the right. What is it with the immaculate blondes? It's like Stepford here. Taking a deep breath, I stand up. Miss Steele, the latest of the blondes, ask. Yes, I croak and clear my throat. Yes. There, that sounded more confident.
I wasn't judging you in my head.
Mr. Gray will see you in a moment. May I take your jacket? Oh, please. I struggle out of the jacket. Have you been offered any refreshments? No. Oh dear, now is blonde number 1 gonna be in trouble? I thought to myself, why are you a bitch? Blonde number 2 frowns and the eyes the young woman at the desk. Would you like tea or coffee or water? She asks,
Number 3, actually.
turning her attention back to me. A glass of water, thank you. I murmur, like she's such a bitch.
Yeah.
Olivia, please fetch Miss Steele a glass of water. Her voice is stern. Olivia scoots up and scurries to the door to the other side of the foyer. My apologies, Miss Steele. Olivia is a new intern. Please be seated. Mr. Gray will be another 5 minutes. Olivia returns with a glass of ice-cold water. Here you go, Miss Steele. Thank you. Blonde number 2 marches over to the large desk, her heels clicking and echoing on the sandstone floor. She sits down and they both continue her work. Perhaps Mr. Gray insists on all his employees being blonde. I'm wondering idly if that's even legal when the office doors open and a tall, elegantly dressed, attractive African-American man with short dreads exits. I have definitely worn the wrong clothes.
What is that?
What? He turns and says through the door, Golf this week, Gray? I didn't hear the reply. He turns, sees me, and smiles, his dark eyes crinkling at the corners. Olivia has jumped up and called the elevator. She seems to excel at jumping up from her seat. She's more nervous than me.
She's just good at her job. She's
Good.
like an assistant. Her whole job is to like be there to anticipate and meet people's needs.
She's literally just doing her job.
She's not nervous.
A good afternoon to you, ladies.
She's attentive.
The man says as he departs through the sliding door. Mr. Gray will see you now, Miss Steele. Do go through. Blonde number 2 says.
The music plays.
I stand rather shakily, trying to suppress my nerves. Gathering up my backpack, I abandon my glass of water and make my way to the partially open door. You don't need to knock, just go in, she smiles kindly. I push the door open and stumble through, tripping over my own feet and falling headfirst in the office.
And dying instantly on impact.
I just... Double crap. Me and my 2 feet. I'm on my hands and knees in the doorway to Mr. Gray's office, and gentle hands are around me, helping me to stand. I feel so embarrassed. Damn my clumsiness. I have to steel myself to glance up. Holy cow. He's so young. Miss Kavanaugh? He extends a long-fingered hand once I'm upright. I'm Christian Gray. You all right? You like to take a seat? So young and attractive. Oh, very attractive.
Is that accent?
He's tall, dressed in a fine gray suit, a white suit, and black tie, with unruly dark copper-colored hair, and intense, bright gray eyes that regard me shrewdly. It takes a moment for me to find my voice. Actually, I mutter, if this guy's over 30, then I'm a monkey's uncle. That's just what it says.
Yeah.
In a daze, I place my hand in his and we shake. Our fingers touch. I feel I feel an odd exhilaration shivering through me.
It's like stiff culture.
I withdraw my hand hastily, embarrassed. Must be static. I blink rapidly, my eyelids matching my heart rate. Miss Kavanaugh's indisposed, so she sent me. I hope you don't mind, Mr. Gray.
Can you stop?
And, who are you? His voice is warm, possibly amused, but it's difficult to tell from his impassive expression. He looks mildly interested, but above all, polite.
His voice wouldn't sound warm if you looked impassive.
And also if you sound like Cricket.
Yeah.
Anastasia Steele. I'm studying English literature with Miss Kavanaugh at WSU Vancouver. I see. He says simply. I think I see the ghost of a smile in his expression, but I'm not sure. You want to take a seat? He waves towards an L-shaped leather couch. His office is way too big for just one man.
It's his casting couch.
In front of the floor-to-ceiling windows, there's a modern dark wood desk that 6 people could comfortably eat around.
I noticed you're not blonde.
It matches the coffee table by the couch. Everything else is white. Ceiling, floors, and walls, except for the wall by the door where a mosaic of small paintings hang. 36 of them, arranged in a square. They're exquisite. A series of mundane, forgotten objects painted in such precise detail that they look like
But
photographs.
if you look closer, they're actually the photographs of dead women.
Displayed together, they are breathtaking. Yeah, came from a local artist, says Gray when he catches my gaze. Oh, they're lovely. They raise the ordinary to extraordinary, I murmur, distracted by both him and the painting. He cocks his head to one side and regards me intently. Well, I couldn't agree more, Miss Steele, he replies, his voice soft, and for some inexplicable reason I find myself blushing. Apart from the paintings, the rest of the office is cold and clean and clinical. I wonder if it reflects the personality of the Adonis who sinks gracefully into one of the light leather chairs opposite of me. I shake my head, disturbed at the direction of my thoughts, and I retrieve Kate's questions from my backpack. Next, I set up the digital recorder and am all fingers and thumbs, dropping it twice on the coffee table in front of me. Mr. Gray says nothing, waiting patiently, I hope, as I become increasingly embarrassed. He valiantly endures. When I pluck up the courage to look up at him, he's watching me. One hand relaxed in his lap, and the other cupping his chin, trailing a long index finger across his lips. I think he's trying to suppress a smile. Sorry,
I'm just bored waiting for you to answer, ask your questions.
I'm not used to this. Well, you just take all the time you need, Miss Steele, he says.
It's not like I have a job to do.
Do you mind if I record your answers? Now, after you've taken all so much trouble to set up the recorder, now you ask me? I flush. Is he teasing me? Oh, I hope. I blink at him, unsure what to say, and I think he takes pity on me because he relents. No, I don't mind. Did Miss Kavanaugh, explain what the interview was for? Well, yes, to appear in the graduation issue of the student's newspaper, as I shall be conferring the degrees of this year's graduation ceremony. Oh, this is news to me, and I'm temporarily preoccupied by the thought that someone not much older than me, Okay, maybe 6 years or so. And okay, mega successful,
Oh my
but
God.
still is going to present me with a degree? I frown, dragging my wayward attention back to the task at hand. He's just waiting as she's buffering.
Yeah.
Good, I swallow nervously. I have some questions, Mr. Gray. I smooth a stray lock of hair behind my ear. Well, I thought you might,
Like,
he says.
just no one is going to be interested in a person like this.
I
Like,
thought.
if you relate to Anastasia, stop.
Yeah. Well, I thought you might, he says. Oh, he's laughing at me. Oh, my cheeks are heating in the realization, and I sit up and square my shoulders in an attempt to look taller and more intimidating. I press the start button on the recorder, and I try to look professional. You're very young to have amassed such an empire. To what do you owe your success? I glance up at him. His smile is rueful, but he looks vaguely disappointed. Well, business is all about people, Miss Steele, and I'm very good at judging people. I know how they tick, what makes them flourish and what doesn't, what inspires them, and how to incentivize them. I employ an exceptional team, and I reward them well.
Except I bet he's not going to understand how this dim-witted girl can't even work the fucking laptop works, because that's what's going to make her so fucking interesting.
He pauses and fixes me with his gray stare. Well, my belief is to achieve success in any scheme, one has to make oneself a master of that scheme. I know it inside and out, know every detail. I work hard, very hard at what I do, and I make decisions based on logic and facts. I have a natural gut instinct that can spot and nurture a good solid idea in good people. Bottom line is, it's always down to good people. Well, maybe you're just lucky. This isn't on Kate's list, but he's so arrogant. His eyes flare momentarily in surprise.
Or is he arrogant?
I don't think that's arrogant at all. It just sounds like a copy-paste of what you say when you could ask the same question 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Well, I don't subscribe to luck or chance, Miss Steele. The harder I work, the more luck I seem to have. It really is all about having the right people on your team and directing their energies accordingly. Why, I think it was Harry Firestone who said, the growth and development of people is the highest calling of leadership.
Yeah, and he's not even accrediting his success to just himself.
Yeah.
It's also, the people he recruits.
He's
and
literally
I think-
just like, I have a talent at finding people that want to work hard.
Yeah, and it's really fucking rude to be like, well, don't you think your success is just luck?
Yeah. Well, you sound like a control freak. The words are out of my mouth before I can stop them. Oh, I exercise control in all things, Miss Steele. He says without a trace of humor in his smile. I look at him and he holds my gaze steadily, impassive. My heartbeat quickens and my face flushes again. Why does he have such an unnerving effect on me? His overwhelming good looks, maybe? The way his eyes blaze at me. The way he strokes his index finger across his lower lip. I wish he'd stop doing that.
The way we're in a porn novel, so we're going to be forced to have chemistry even if there's none there.
Besides, immense power is acquired by assuring yourself in your secret reveries that you were born to control things. He continues, his voice soft. Do you... I'm just imagining what's going to be like later with cricket voice. Do you feel that you have immense power? Control freak, I think. Miss Steele, I employ over 40,000 people. That gives me a certain sense of responsibility, or power, if you will. If I were to decide I'm no longer interested in the telecommunications business, I'd sell, let's say, 20,000 people would struggle to make their mortgage payments after a month or so. My mouth drops open. I'm staggered by his lack of humility. Don't you have a board you have to answer to? I ask, disgusted. I own my own company. I don't gotta answer to no board. He raises an eyebrow at me. Of course I would know this if I had done some research, but holy crap, he's arrogant. I changed tactics.
He's not. He's
And,
just rightfully
Yeah.
proud of what he's
He's
done.
completely justified.
And defensive because you're trying to write off his accomplishments as just luck.
Yeah, you got like some asshole college kid being like, well, you ain't that special.
And it's like, you don't even know how to send a fucking email.
You can't
Shut
even
up.
like form a sentence without quivering.
Yeah, you get fucking excited looking at your best friend in in a lamp in certain granite. Like, come on.
Well, do you have any interests that are outside of your work? I got varied interests, Miss Steele. A ghost of a smile touches his lips. Very varied. And for some reason I'm confounded and heated by his steady gaze. His eyes are alight with some wicked thought. But if you work so hard, what do you do to chill out? Chill out? He smiles, revealing perfect white teeth, and I stop breathing.
I want to take
He
his teeth.
really is beautiful.
I want to make
No.
jewelry of his teeth.
No one should be this good looking. Well, to chill out, as you'd put it, I sail, I fly, I indulge in various physical pursuits. He shifts in his chair. I'm a very wealthy man, Miss Steele, and I have expensive and absorbing hobbies. I glance quickly at Kate's questions, wanting to get off this subject. You invest in manufacturing. Why specifically, I ask. Why does he make me so uncomfortable? I like to build things. I like to know how things work, what makes things tick, how to construct and deconstruct, and I have a love of ships. What can I say? That sounds like your heart talking rather than logic and facts. His mouth quirks up and he stares appraisingly at me. Yeah, possibly, though there are people who'd say I don't have a heart. Why would they say that? Because they know me too well. His lip curls in a wry smile.
Too edgy for you.
Would your friends say you're easy to get to know? And I regret this question as soon as I say it. It's again not on Kate's list. Well, I'm a very private person, Miss Steele, and I go a long way to protect my privacy. I don't often give interviews. Why did you agree to do this one? Why, because I'm a benefactor of the university, and for all intents and purposes, I couldn't get Miss Kavanaugh off my back. She badgered and badgered my PR people, and I have to say I admire that kind of tenacity. I know how tenacious Kate can be. I keep wanting to say cat.
Just say cat.
It doesn't matter. No one cares. That's why I'm sitting here squirming uncomfortably under his penetrating gaze, when I should be studying for my exams. Well, you also invest in farming technologies. This is the most boring fucking interview I've ever had to read.
Yeah, it's less an interview and more of like an interrogation.
Yeah, you also could have
Why
just
do you
like,
invest in this, bitch?
yeah, you could have just Wikipedia'd all this if he's so big.
Yeah, it's like, why did you invest?
It's just
well,
written-
Don't you think you just got lucky? Where did you hide the body?
Especially after watching all these criminal psychologies all day.
Yeah.
You also invest in farming technologies. Why you invested in that? Well, we can't eat money, Miss Steele, and there's too many people on this planet who don't have enough to eat. Well, that sounds very philanthropic. Is it something you feel passionately about? You know, feeding the world's poor? I don't know why I'm reading Anna's like such a bitch.
Well, because she's being a bitch.
He shrugs noncommittally. It's a shrewd business, he murmurs, though I think he's being disingenuous. It doesn't make sense. Feeding the world's poor? I can't see the financial benefit of this.
It's
Only the
good
virtue of the
for their
ideal.
Look, it's good PR, you stupid bitch.
I glance at the next question, confused by his attitude. His attitude of being like, I feed poor people, and she's like, ew, why? Do you have a philosophy? If so, what is it? I don't have a philosophy as such. You know, maybe a guiding principle. Carnegie's, a man who acquires the ability to take full possession of his own mind, may take possession of anything else to which he is justly entitled. I'm very singular driven, and I like control of myself and those around me. So you want to possess things. God, you are a control freak. I want to deserve to possess them, but yes, bottom line, I do. Well, you sound like the ultimate consumer. I guess in a way I am. He smiles, but the smile doesn't touch his eyes. Again, this is at odds with someone who wants to feed the world. I can't help but think
He
that we're talking
literally
about something
told
else.
You, like, it's just shrewd business. I just do it to look good,
Yeah.
basically. And you're like, it doesn't make any sense.
Like, Anna, keep up. But I'm mystified as to what it is. I swallow hard. The temperature in the room is rising, or maybe it's just me. I just want this interview to be over. Surely Kate has enough material now.
You barely got anything.
So I glance at the next question. You were adopted. How much do you think that shapes the way you are?
Wow.
Oh, this is personal. I stare at him, hoping he's not offended. His brow furrows. Well, I have no way of knowing, do I? My interest is piqued. How old were you when you were adopted? Well, that's a matter of public record, Miss Steele. His tone is stern.
All
Crap.
Of this is kind of
Yes, of
matter
course.
public.
If I had known I was doing this interview, I could have done some research. Flustered, I moved on quickly. You at least knew last night. It's not like you woke up this morning.
Yeah, you could have done some research last night.
You're just fucking lazy.
Yeah.
You've had to sacrifice family life for your work. That's not a question. Sorry, I squirm. He's made me feel like an errant child. You should. I try again. Have you had to sacrifice family life for your work? Well, I have a family. I got a brother and a sister, 2 loving parents. I'm not interested in extending my family beyond that. Are you gay, Mr. Gray?
Wow.
Jesus Christ. He inhales sharply and I cringe, mortified. Crap. Why didn't I employ some kind of filter before I read this straight out? How could I tell him I'm just reading the questions? Ah, damn Kate and her curiosity. Why no, Anastasia? I'm not. He raises his eyebrows, a cool gleam in his eyes.
Does Christian Grey is gay?
I apologize. It's written here. It's the first time he said my name. My heartbeat has accelerated, and my cheeks are heating up again. Nervously, I tuck the loosened hair behind my ear. He cocks his head to one side. These aren't your questions, are they? The blood drains from my head.
Of course they're not.
No, yeah, like he knows she's a substitute.
Yeah.
This, like, goddamn, like, we're not even through chapter 1.
Yeah.
Like, he knew she was a substitute, so, like, they both already know they aren't her questions.
Yeah.
So her trying to hide them's stupid.
Yeah.
And all of these aren't even real questions.
And it's like, why are you trying to hide them in the first place? You're
Yeah.
here to question for your friend.
And most people know, like, when you do interviews, they have them wrote down on a paper.
Yeah, they
like,
usually have like a clipboard or something, or like they have a monitor they're reading off of. Like, it's not uncommon to just read off of a fucking list. I don't know why she's being weird.
We're on page 13, and I can already say that this is by far the dumbest book we've ever read live. Like, I don't even care. Normally I'm like, I don't hope the author doesn't feel bad, but I genuinely hope that E.L. James feels bad. Alright. Anyway. These aren't your own questions, are they? The blood drains from my head. No. Kate, Miss Kavanaugh, she compiled the questions.
Just call her Kate. He's gonna know what you're
Yeah,
talking
like,
about. You've said it enough times. It doesn't fucking matter. Stop correcting yourself. I'd be so annoyed.
Every time that she's like, Kate, she says, Miss Kavanaugh. Like, we fucking know.
It's like, you're doing it on purpose, or like, just don't bother, because I know who you're talking about.
Can
know
I
it's Miss
interest
Kavanaugh.
you in some chicken nuggets? You fucking quirky piece of shit.
Jeez, shut up.
Right. Are your colleagues on the student paper? Oh no, I have nothing to do with the student paper. It's her extracurricular activities, not mine. Oh god, my face is aflame.
What do you... What? He knows! He knows! You're guys a substitute! What's happening?
No, she's my roommate. He rubs his chin in quiet deliberation, his gray eyes appraising me. And did you, volunteer to do this interview? He asks, his voice deadly quiet. Like,
It's like the whole fucking first few pages part of the rough draft, and then
She just
changed
forgot.
it, and then she didn't fix it.
I think this is even a republished edition. So it's not like we got a first reader copy where she just forgot to take out, like, the first 3 pages that already, like, she's told everybody she's a substitute.
Yeah, they've
He
been
acknowledged that she's a
They've
substitute.
been calling her Miss Steele. She keeps referencing Miss Kavanaugh. Why would she even reference her friend if they don't know that she's here as a substitute?
So, did you volunteer to do this interview? Hang on. Who's supposed to be interviewing whom? His eyes burn into me, and I'm compelled to answer with the truth. I was drafted. She's not well. She has, like, the fucking cold. Calm down.
Oh, God.
My child's
She's
sick.
very ill.
My voice is weak and apologetic. Well, that does explain a great deal.
Like, why you're so bad at this.
There's a knock at the door, and blonde number 2 enters. You know her name, you bitch.
It's number 3.
Mr. Gray, forgive me for interrupting, but your next meeting is in 2 minutes. We're not finished here, Andrea. Please cancel my next meeting. Andrea hesitates, gaping at him. She appears lost. He turns his head slowly to face her and raises his eyebrows. She flushes bright pink. Oh good, it's not just me. Very well, Mr. Gray, she mutters, then exit. He frowns and turns his attention back to
That you
me.
should take note of and put in the paper.
Yeah. Where were we now, Miss Steele? Oh, we're back to Miss Steele now. Please don't let me keep you from anything.
Miss Steele is your name. He's still saying your name.
Listen, I want to know about you, and I think that's only fair. His eyes are alight with curiosity. What was he going to do with this? He places his elbows on the arms of the chair and steeples his fingers in front of his mouth. His mouth is so very, distracting. I swallow. I'm unhappy. There's not much to know. What are your plans after you graduate? I shrug, thrown by his interest. Move to Seattle with Kate, find a job. I haven't really thought beyond my finals.
Are you domestic partners?
I haven't made any plans, Mr. Gray. I just need to get through my final exams, which I should be studying for right now rather than sitting in your palatial, swanky, sterile office, feeling uncomfortable under your penetrating gaze.
What the hell?
I don't know. She's mad. Well, we do run an excellent internship program here, he says quietly, and I raise my eyebrows in surprise. Is he really offering me a job? Oh, I'll bear that in mind,
Tell Mr.
I murmur,
Kavanaugh about
confounded. Though I'm not sure that I'd fit in here. Oh no, I'm musing out loud. Why you say that? He tilts his head to one side, intrigued, a hint of smile playing on his lips. It's obvious, isn't it? I'm uncoordinated, scruffy, and I'm not blonde. She's thinking that, by the way. It's not obvious to me. His gaze is intense, all the humor gone. Strange muscles deep in my belly clench. I tear my eyes away from his scrutiny and stare blindly down at my knotted fingers. What's going on here? I have to go. Now, I lean forward to retrieve the recorder. Would you like me to show you around? He asks. I'm sure you're far too busy, Mr. Gray, and I do have quite a long drive. You're driving back to Vancouver. He sounds surprised, anxious even. He glances out the window, and it's begun to rain. Well, you better drive carefully. His tone is stern, authoritative. Why should he care? Did you...
He's just a nice person.
Yeah, all we've got is like he feeds poor people and he's concerned about her safety. And she's like, oh, God, ew.
Yeah.
Did you
Proud of his business.
get everything you need? He adds. Yes, sir. I reply, packing the recorder into my backpack. His eyes narrow speculatively. Thank you for the interview, Mr. Gray. Why, the pleasure's been all mine, he says, polite as ever. As I rise, he stands and holds out his hand. Until we meet again, Miss Steele. And it sounds like a challenge, or a threat. I'm not sure which. I frown.
It's just a polite goodbye.
Just like, alright, catch you later. And she's like, what do you mean?
He's gonna break into my house. He's gonna kidnap me.
When would we possibly ever meet again, I ask myself. I shake his hand once more.
When he gives you your diploma.
Astounded that odd occurrence between us is still there. It must be my nerves. Mr. Gray, I nod at him, moving with a lithe athletic grace to the door, and he opens it wise. Just ensuring you make it through the door, Miss Steele. He gives me a small smile, obviously referring to my earlier less than elegant entry into the office. I blush. That's very considerate, Mr. Gray. I snap. And his smile, I can't get this page turned, widens. I'm glad you find me entertaining. I glower inwardly, walking into the foyer. I'm surprised when he follows me out. Andre and Olivia both look up equally surprised. Did you have a coat, Miss Gray? A jacket. Olivia leaps up and retrieves my jacket, which Gray takes from her before she can hand it to me. He holds it up, feeling ridiculously self-conscious. I shrug it on. Gray places his hands for a moment on my shoulders, and I gasp at the contact.
This is sexual harassment.
If he notices my reaction, he gives nothing away. His long index finger presses the button summoning the elevator. And we stand, waiting, awkwardly on my part, coolly self-possessed on his. The doors open and I hurry in, desperate to escape. I really need to get out of here. When I turn to look at, she's just soaking her panties. When I turn to look at him, he's gazing at me and leaning against the doorway beside the elevator, with one hand on the wall.
And
He really is.
On his penis.
He really is very, very good looking, and it's so unnerving. Anastasia, he says as a farewell. Christian, I reply, and mercifully, the doors close. That's the end of chapter 1. That is where we're going to.
Mercifully, the doors close.
That is where we're going to end for the night. We'll probably do chapter 2, I don't know, tomorrow or something. But I can already feel my voice leaving, so I don't think I can fit another chapter in. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.